Have you ever felt like you were going to die young?
As a matter of fact, yes.
Really?
Last night.
Are you being condescending?
No, I'm being serious about that.
Just happened to be last night. We just picked
No,
up.
that's just one of the nights.
Oh,
I think it's because I'm getting older. I mean, I don't know why. Do you actually think that at your age?
yeah.
Obviously, you're bringing that up. What was the question again?
I'm the one that threw that in the
What was the
bowl.
question again?
Have you ever felt like you were going to die young? Like, have you ever? And when I wrote it and put
I changed my mind.
Okay. When I wrote it and put it in the fishbowl, it's because I have always felt like I was going to die at a young age. Young as in like I thought it'd be like 20s, 30s, 40s, but I didn't really think that I was going to make it up to like the 60s, 70s, 80s. And then like when I'm driving, I have a fear of one specific thing happening, and I don't know if it's just like maybe a fear of dying at a young age due to this thing, but like every time I turn to the right, I picture a car coming out of nowhere and taking me out at that moment.
It's probably going to happen.
I highly doubt it will, that exact thing.
You're willing it into your life.
I don't know. It's just.
I mean, if you keep thinking about that, well,
it makes me double check every time I turn.
Like this morning, every once in a while, like when I'm going into work, like when a car's coming towards me, I think, based on the laws of averages and all the times I passed a car, it's bound to happen where that car like texting.
Okay. So I guess you do.
But I'm not constantly thinking about that.
I don't know. I have been in a car accident that was similar to maybe what I'm describing. So maybe it's a fear from that. But yeah, but it makes me double check or be prepared for it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What happens to me now, and it's happened maybe a few times. I don't think it's been like I thought I was going to die young. In fact, I thought the opposite.
You picture yourself living for a long time?
Yeah. Just because it's like a goal I have now. Let's say when I set a goal, it changes shit.
When you set a goal.
But there's been a couple times that I thought, when I'm in bed, I wonder if this is the last sleep I'm going to get.
Okay, so see, stuff does cross your mind.
Well, yeah.
So I'm not the only one.
But only one time that I can remember did it really like frighten me a little bit. And I'm thinking, why am I frightened?
Huh?
Well, I know why. Because I have a lot more to give and live, and so many people out there need to see me more.
Shut up. I think I've only had one really, really big scare, and that was when I had no white blood cells. And my doctor was like, we're going to give it a week and retest. And I was like, oh, what's the worst case scenario here? And she was like,
death?
Yeah, she's like, you're too young to have this discussion with you right now. And I was like, oh, now you have to tell me. I was like, what is it? And she was like, it's leukemia. And I was like, oh, what? And she's like, but really, like, this is a freakish amount of not having, like, you have, like, no white blood cells. So she was like, please don't go do anything. Just stay home for a week and come back for the test results. And then I went to the store and I got everything you could possibly get to boost your white blood cells. Garlic. I was eating kale. All kinds of stuff. And then I went back and she was like, wow, you have a lot of white blood cells again. So we just didn't know. She was like, maybe it was like a weird thing or whatever.
Is that so far to this point in your life, is that your closest scare of death?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So then I had to start thinking like, okay, if in a week they tell me that I do still have low white blood cells, and I do possibly have leukemia, I need to come up with a plan. I need to be prepared.
Well, leukemia is definitely a death sentence.
No, it's just you'd have to go through bone marrow transplant, and so I was just like, okay, I got to figure out what I'm gonna do.
I had my last rites given to me.
Oh yeah.
What do you mean? Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure I remember this time.
Really?
I think.
Do tell. Smart ass.
Was it the time that you got injured as a football player?
Oh, very good.
Yeah,
you
I
were
know
listening.
everything about you. I could tell the story if you'd like.
No, I'm doing that.
Probably do it better than you.
That was weird. But you know what? Even like I've had close calls. I can say at least twice. Very close, I think. And in both cases, I wasn't scared. I was more frightened when I thought I wasn't going to wake up from sleep than I was when I was actually in those moments of like when the doc was giving me my last rites. It didn't even like, it didn't faze me. It didn't faze me. When I had my 3 strokes and I was laying there all screwed up, you know, it didn't faze. I mean, I was calm. It didn't even occur to me that I was going to die or that I was close to death or anything like that. But you know what it does occur is like afterwards. I think in the moment what happens is you have adrenaline, you know what I mean? I don't know, because it's kind of weird. In fact, I get very calm in those kinds of situations.
You do.
Super calm.
You get very calm.
Like even like when my mom died. I mean, that's somebody else dying because we were at a meeting that day.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
And I just respond very calmly. Everybody handles that a little bit differently. But yeah, that was kind of a strange deal to have it was by a priest.
Yeah, that would be really
I said, what's going on? What is the doctor not telling you?
How old are you again?
20, now?
No, how old are you with the first one?
21.
22?
21.
Oh, 21.
Yeah, I was in college.
Yeah.
Football. But it was strange. And the doctor told my dad and said if he hadn't have been an athlete, probably wouldn't have made it. And I think it has something to do with I think it has as much to do with the mindset of an athlete as opposed to just being in shape. I mean, being in shape is obviously important.
Yeah.
I think it's always important.
Well, weren't they like pumping blood out and pumping blood in at the same time or something?
Yeah, that was weird. Fucking weird. Yeah, it's really strange. They now that we're talking about that, they cut a hole in my chest right here, slit. Because I don't want to get off. I mean, this started with you asking a question.
But it still is the same area topic.
But yeah, they made they give me like a local anesthesia, and then they cut me. It was so weird because I was awake and I was watching the doctor do this. It's on this side, and it's so strange because I could hear him cutting the flesh, but I couldn't feel anything.
Oh.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't.
Really, it sounds like that.
It does. It felt like that. It sounded like that.
Oh.
To me.
Ugh.
And then what they did is they put a tube in me, and they put that tube in, but probably that far into me. Tube. Yeah, and then I was hooked up to that tube to a machine that was pumping blood out of me. What happened was
pumping blood out or sucking it out.
Sucking it out. And what happened was when I got that injury, it was from football. It was a collapsed lung, but not only a collapsed lung, I also had broken ribs. That made the lung collapsed, but it also caused hemorrhaging because when the rib broke, one of the edges of the rib poked into my body, and I started bleeding internally.
Great.
And I'm so stubborn back then. I am still today, but I knew I was really hurt in that game. And I finished the game. I got hurt in the first half. I had to get carried off the field. But the doctor said, hey, they gave me pain medicine back then. Went out and played the whole second half with a collapsed lung and broken ribs, But I wouldn't go to the doctor. My dad took me home that night. Usually you ride with the team bus. And I told my dad, they let me go with my dad. And so what we did on the way back to kill pain, I said, stop at a liquor store. And I got some booze because I was hurting. I thought I'd just kill the pain, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't go to the doctor that night. And in the morning, I could hardly get out of bed. There was so much weight. I didn't know what it was. So much weight on my chest. And, finally I got up and I drove to school, which is about a mile away, the college, about a mile away. My dad went home. I was by myself. And because he went home that night, I said, I'm okay. And I drove to school the next day. And on the way to school, I started passing out. I didn't have any blood. I lost all this blood.
Ugh. I hate just even talking about blood.
I know. So they rushed me in and they did this emergency,
Yeah.
And there I was getting blood sucked out of my body.
And pumped into your body.
Yeah. On one side, it was coming out. On the other side, they were infusing me with somebody else's blood.
A whole bunch of else's.
Yeah. And, but even then, it was.
Did you think you were going to die?
No.
Oh.
I did not. Even when the guy did my last rites, I didn't think I was going to die.
You're like, nah, I'm good.
I just didn't think that way. It was just inconceivable to me.
Hmm.
Just like it was inconceivable to me that I had 3 strokes.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
I know, because we all think we're invincible. It's not going to happen to us.
Well, I think the weirdest thing of that whole thing, that was, again, I had a reaction to the blood that they gave me. One of the packs that they gave me. And I got big lips to begin with. But my face, after they gave me an infusion, my face and my lips started swelling up. It felt like somebody was pumping air into my face.
Oh my gosh.
That scared the shit out of me. Because I thought it was going to explode. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Not all I was having a reaction to the blood.
Wow.
But the strangest thing that happened to me was when they came in, I had that machine on me, sucking blood out of me.
Oh my God. Okay, enough.
I just don't want you to get confused with pumping and sucking. And so that day came, I was thinking, I wonder how the fuck they're going to take this tube out of me. It's just sticking in me. So doctor comes in. He said, roll over and hang on to the bed. I'm taking the tube out. Literally just took the tube. They said, you ready? And they yanked it out of me. And the gap, the gap that's there, because I was thinking, how's that going to close up? But you have so much compression, I guess, or your body, when they pull it out, that gap just closes up. No stitch, nothing like that. The tube that was in me wasn't it wasn't a garden hose, but it closed right up. Wow. So weird, yeah. It took me 3 months to get over that injury. And when I went home, I could get out of bed and I could only stand up and do stuff for maybe an hour. It was, it was really traumatic. That was my first scare, I think, with death. But yeah, but when I think about it, it's like after the fact, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's not in the moment.
I didn't know how close I was to that. But have you ever heard the expression, a cat has 9 lives?
Yes.
I think I've used up 2 of mine. That's a good thing, because I got 7 more.
True.
65.
Are you sure that your 3 strokes wouldn't be considered 3 lives?
I guess it depends on how you.
So really it's 4 that you're down on and you only have 3 left?
Could be.
Yeah, I haven't had any.
Yeah, but last night was one of those nights I'm thinking, Well, the thing about it is, it's freaky when people like your age die, and
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
but like 65, I mean, I don't feel like it's old now to be in my shoes.
Mhm.
But look around.
And then I would think the people around you dying at your age, like
Yeah.
people maybe from school,
Yeah,
or
that.
that would start to be like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to go.
And you know who John Travolta is?
Yes,
His wife. 57.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. That kind of brings things back into a perspective. How fragile life really is. You don't realize that. And if you think about it too much, you're done. You're paralyzed.
I mean, my dad passed away at 55.
Yeah. So it happens, So,
Yeah.
and then you start doing weird math. I do. What the average lifespan is for males, 78.
Oh my gosh.
And
you're getting there.
well, yeah. Did I tell you about the time I did?
I don't think you're ever gonna die, unfortunately.
My dad told me that a month before he passed, because I go visit him at the rest home. God, if you find me in a rest home, kidnap me. Okay, seriously. I mean, he had no choice.
I could not picture you in a rest home.
Well, I don't think my dad could either, but he was there. But you know what? He had circumstances that he had to have 24-hour care.
Yeah.
Otherwise he would have been living with one of the siblings.
Mm.
And I talked about that the other day to somebody. It's scary. I did a podcast yesterday with somebody who's developing smart homes for aging people.
Oh yeah.
Instead of being put in a, because one of the things that as you get older, at least I saw it with my dad, and I'm already thinking sometimes that way. I don't like to think about this, is losing your freedom. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
All of a sudden you just can't go drive your car. My dad, but he goes, why can't I drive my car? He just wanted to drive his car instead of, he was imprisoned. I mean,
I think that's when you'd want to rely on your child, like somebody to be there for you.
Well, I mean, the kids went and visited him, but the point is, it was that loss of freedom.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you can sometimes when people are going through something, whether it be what we're talking about or just anything, when you're in that part of life where you're going dark times, so you can relate to somebody, but you really don't know what they're going through because you're not in their shoes.
Exactly.
And I remember my dad was in the hospital, and it was at that point where we had to make a decision about him. He couldn't come live with us, and we had to put him in a rest home. Man, he fought that. He was pissed at me because we had to make a decision. I'm the oldest one, so he took it out on me kind of in the beginning. I mean, later on he realized that it was the best move, but it had more to do with losing his freedom.
Yeah.
And that's scary to think that.
What would you do if you
had
to go to a rest home?
I don't know. I watched my dad. There's only so many things you can do. I mean, he was in a wheelchair, he at first, and they have things that you can do, but it's limited. You can only play, games and just you're imprisoned. You can go outside, we'd pick him up sometimes, but boy, life. How do you want to die? Now think about that now. Think about being in a rest home. Because I saw my dad decline emotionally. Because at some point it just gets to you. It's like life's not worth it anymore. Mm-hmm. You're losing the quality of your life. And we're all going to face that. Is it better to go and be in a head-on collision where you lived life and you just got wiped out and you didn't feel anything? Or do you linger?
Oh my gosh. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, you're not. But I saw it. I watched my dad die slowly. And so how do you want to go? Is it better to go in your sleep? My grandpa, that was his wish.
My mom, that's her wish. She wants to go in her sleep.
Yeah. My grandpa did. It was so crazy because I was there. I saw him. And my grandma, they were living at my uncle's house at that point. So my grandpa had a routine. He'd get up really early, go to the restroom, go back to bed. He had just a sort of a typical night, got up, went and used the restroom, went back to bed, died with a smile on his face.
Wow.
And that's the way he wanted to go. that wouldn't be so bad.
No. I mean,
Compared to the way my dad went,
yeah.
because I used to say to him, it's easy when you're on this side talking to somebody who's in bed, or trapped.
Yeah.
It's like I used to tell him, why don't you start reading or do something like an activity that you can get into. And, unfortunately, he wasn't that person that liked to read and I even told him, I said, well, maybe you just have to like stretch out. I was trying to relate and give a perspective, but I just really couldn't relate to him. And I think that he was at a point in his life that he didn't want to change. Because I'm thinking, okay, like what you're saying, I thought, what would I do? Well, I was telling him what I thought I would do. Do shit that you don't normally do. Stretch yourself. But when you're in a funky place emotionally,
yeah,
just
hard to find the motivation to do anything.
Yeah, think about how you're healthy for the most part, except for all the problems you have every day you come in. But
it's from you.
But just think about, you being in the wrong state of mind, and then somebody go, well, Kara, why don't you just do this?
I know. Easier said than done is what I'd probably say.
So it's scary.
Yeah.
Life can be scary. And I think about that. Did I ever tell you about the time I did math to see how many minutes I had to live?
No.
I didn't? I thought you knew everything.
Oh, maybe you have, but I definitely won't remember the number.
Oh, I don't either, but what I did is I took the average lifespan of a male, 78. And then I did it when I was in my 50s.
Is it 78 or 68? Because I swear you said 68.
Oh, my God, 68? What, am I going to die in 3 years? Average lifespan is not 68, Kara.
Could have swore you said that at the beginning of this podcast, but okay.
No.
Okay, go.
78.
Okay.
Women, 80.
Oh, look at us.
Yeah, you guys kill us off.
Girls rule, boys drool.
Yeah.
That's where that comes from.
And so I did that. I said, okay, so 78 is the average lifespan. I am whatever the age I was. So I did math. And I came up with and I highly recommend that you do this, and I'll tell you why. So I did it, and it seems like the number that I had to live was I had like 1 million or several million minutes to live based on that. And that was considering that things went pretty well for me. Like I didn't have stroke, something that was going to shorten
Probably
that.
didn't subtract the time that you're sleeping, though, did you?
What?
Because if you were doing it by like timesing the years and timesing the
I was doing it by the 24-hour clock.
Okay, 24-hour clock, but what? 10 of those hours you're sleeping?
I did not. Yeah, you're right. I didn't take that consideration. That makes it even worse.
I know.
Anyway, but I tell you what that does, seriously, because a lot of people procrastinate in their life. Oh, when I get to this age, I'll go ahead and do the things I've wanted to do. You hear that all the time.
Yeah.
And they never end up doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you put that into a minutes, like I have this many minutes to live, it puts it into a different perspective. It's kind of like an hourglass.
Oh.
That metaphor of that sand just running. All of a sudden it's like, how fast this is really going.
And you just wasted 10 minutes doing the math for this.
But it just puts it into a different.
Yeah.
It gave me more of a sense of urgency to make sure that I live in the moment and do the things that I want to do sooner than later and be serious about that.
You think at that exact moment when you did that, from that point on, you have taken it.
It changed the perspective.
Interesting.
It gave it a different meaning. Otherwise, it's I got a lot of time.
Yeah.
But think about this.
You kind of feel like it's infinity right now.
Well, but you can't really relate to what I'm going to say because you're, what, 38? How old are you?
Shut up.
No, how old are you?
28.
Really? What happened? You're what?
I'm 28.
Okay, so you really can't relate to what I'm going to say. But it's shocking how fast 65 got here. And time starts flying even more and more. You're going to see right now.
Oh, I feel like I already see. Once you have a kid, time starts to fly.
Well, you haven't seen anything yet, sister. No, seriously. And all of a sudden, it's just like, from 35 to 65? Unbelievable. Well, I mean, now think about that. From 35 to that's what 25 years, and it went like that. Okay, what's 78 minus 65? 13.
Mm-hmm.
So if 25 years went this fast, I'm dead right now. I got one foot in the grave. It's true. It's scary. It's scary shit.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I think it's important to.
I think you've just scared the shit out of me so much that from this moment on, I'm just not even gonna show up for work.
Well,
I'm just
if
gonna
that's
go
on
live
your
my
bucket
life.
list. But no, it's really weird.
Yeah.
I had an old timer one time tell me, he said, life is like a roll of toilet paper. And I never heard that before. And I heard quite a bit at that point. I was 40-some years old. I had a little bit of age underneath me, 44. I couldn't get the metaphor. He said, the closer that the toilet paper gets to the end, the faster it goes. And it does. Think about it. When that roll of toilet paper starts getting to the end, it really goes fast. And that's life. That is life.
Wow.
It's like a roll of toilet paper. The closer that you get to the end, the faster it goes. I'm on a fucking high-speed roller coaster right now.
You're at the ending point.
Well, it's true. Think about it.
I know I am.
I'm on the tail end of my life.
How are you not stressed?
I'm not even
and
middle-aged.
getting ulcers
What?
from this?
I tell you why. Because I'm doing the things that I want to do in my life.
Oh yeah, there you go. You're living it to your fullest.
That
right
helps.
Mm-hmm. No regrets. You would have no regrets.
That helps.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's a strange deal.
Man, anybody listening to this is gonna take this like
Well,
and go from this and just start living their lives.
Well, it can be a positive thing.
Very true.
I've been lucky. I've said this a bunch of the time before, but I've been very lucky that I fell into a life that is based on passion. And I'm very lucky that it happened to me at the age of 27, 28, about your age.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how lucky I was back then. I was more scared than anything else because I took a huge leap of faith.
Yep.
But yeah, but I'm lucky. I would wish that everybody could be, things happen in your life. You're going to have, it's not if, but when. You're not going to get out of this thing without getting bruised up. And hopefully, that's life's going to be that way, But I've been really lucky about that. Do you feel like you need to take medication now? Do you need like a...
No, I'm not stressed whatsoever.
No?
No.
You look like you're going to sleep. Am I like putting you to sleep?
No, I think I'm kind of in the same area as you. Like I have no regrets. I feel like I'm living my life to my full potential and I'm very happy in my situations with any kind of circumstance.
That's a lie.
I'm at a very peaceful spot in my life.
Like at this moment?
No, as in like just in general.
Okay, whatever.
In general, I really am. Like the only thing that would sadden me if I did die would be my son. Because now I have somebody else that I'm like worried about. If I didn't have my son, I would be like, oh yeah, like I'm fine. If I die, I die. But I don't want to because I have a son that I need to continue to raise. That's really the only thing that sits in the back of my head. But other than that, I'm a good mom and I know that.
Even if you say so yourself?
I say so myself.
It's very objective of you. Okay, I want to talk about Ethel Spittig.
What is that?
Ethel Spittig. I shit you not. That is a lady's name.
Okay.
She used to babysit us. She was our...
Oh my God. I remember her.
Talk about horrifying and
remember her.
And being near death.
I mean, I wasn't there.
I would have rather been at that point in my life. I would have rather been in a fucking prison camp.
I remember you talking about her.
She's
in your book.
And the thing about it is, I've always remembered things that are traumatic in my life. Ethel Spittig.
Yeah.
I'm in 3rd grade. I'm living off Houston Avenue. I can't remember shit, but I can remember this time in my life with Ethel fucking Spittig. Spittig. That's a real name, not made up. third grade, living on Houston Avenue, Visalia, next to the cemetery, which is kind of fitting. That woman, and there were times that woman made my sister and I eat food that we absolutely fucking hated. She did it on purpose, and I don't know why. I don't remember being bad.
Are you sure that she probably wasn't as bad as you think?
Oh, yes, she was. No, she was. She would it would be like a waiting competition. There would be times, think about this, that my sister and I would have to, we are at that table for 2 hours, and that bitch would wait us out. She wouldn't move. She wouldn't leave because we had dogs, and she knows, she knew that we'd try to feed the dog. She would not let us off that table until we ate every bit of that shit that we didn't like.
Okay, well, give me an example of what was.
I don't know. I'm still it's very oppressed. I can't think about it that much. All I can tell you is that it doesn't matter. It was food that we didn't like.
And it was that bad?
Yes.
Were you gagging?
Worse than that. Yes.
You were gagging.
I know what it was.
Did you ever throw up?
Spinach. I don't know. Spinach. I didn't like any vegetables back then.
Oh my God. Of course she was shoving that down your throat.
None. I like corn, peas. In a story. Okay? So we were, maybe she had good intentions, but she would not. She was relentless.
Watch, this food was really good. You just had carrots on the side.
No.
Your little self was over here gagging over it.
I'm pretty sure that she got tortured when she was young. I think she was passing that on to us. It was brutal. You never had that? Did your mom ever make you eat stuff you didn't want to eat?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Did she keep you at a table imprisoned?
I don't think it was like that.
Oh, you would have remembered.
No, I'm pretty sure. But I think I liked everything.
Of course you did.
But there was a rule that you had to take 3 bites of something you didn't like. And it's actually stuck with me, so I do the same thing with Liam, but I made it go to 4 because I like the number
evil.
4.
You're an ethel spit take in the making.
If he
4, you're increasing that shit.
If he doesn't like it, I just make him take 4 bites because I really think that there's nothing wrong with it. He's just being a kid. So 4 bites and you can get down. And he's like, okay, so they'll be the tiniest little bites. I mean, literally, it doesn't even not even enough to put on your tongue. And I'm like, that doesn't count as a bite. And it's like mashed potatoes, okay? My kid's doing this over mashed potatoes. Come on, dude. Rice. He does not like rice, but he'll do sticky rice. Come to find out, the reason he doesn't like rice, it has nothing to do with the flavor of it. He doesn't like how it falls off of his freaking his freaking fork and spoon. He doesn't like how it's loose. So he'll do sticky rice because it's more of a glove. That's what I'm dealing with. So yeah, 4 freaking bites. You're fine.
I thought for a while that my mom really hated us.
Because she was making you stick with her?
Well,
you sure she knew what was going on?
We told her. I think she thought we were making this stuff up.
She probably thought you guys were kids.
Well, we were kids, Kara. We're in 3rd grade.
Yeah, she's probably like, you guys are kids. And
Come on.
Your vegetables.
Do you really think that a 3rd grader can be that deceiving?
I think that a 3rd grader can be picky when it comes to food that's probably perfectly fine. If your dog's eating it, you can eat it.
Maybe my mom didn't have any options. Again, she was working.
True.
And maybe
True that.
Maybe Hitler Ethel Spittig was the only person she could find.
Or afford.
God. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, that's
I'm pretty
bad.
sure that might have been a near-death experience now that I'm thinking about it. This is my 3rd one.
I didn't ever have any bad daycare providers or nannies or anything. I actually really liked mine. I had good experiences in that area.
Now, interestingly enough, maybe I can give all this credit to Ethel Spittig. I like all vegetables. I do. There's not one that I won't eat.
Cauliflower?
I eat that. Listen to what I'm saying to you. There's not one that I won't eat.
Good to know.
And my not only have my taste buds dramatically changed, But the way that my food is cooked now is dramatically different.
Very true. Very true. You have
I have
like a
I have a
best-
chef at home, legit.
Yeah,
I mean, she's not a chef. She's,
she should be.
she should be. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know that food could taste that good.
Yep.
Oh, you've tasted something for food.
Oh gosh, yeah. And it's different food, and you're like a little concerned when you get it, but then wow, somehow it just gets.
She can do chicken like in about, I'm not kidding you, 30 or 40 different ways.
I remember she taught me one of her ways, and I actually made it for Liam, and it turned out to be yellow. It's like that yellow chicken that she does.
Yo, that's
yeah,
good stuff.
yeah, with the yogurt.
Oh,
So I made some of that for Liam, and when I put it on his plate, he literally was like, "That is yellow chicken," and I was like, "I know, just ignore the color, just try it." 4 bites, and he took a bite, and he was like, "Oh, this is the best thing in the whole wide world," and he will request yellow chicken. I want the yellow chicken.
it's amazing
He
how
likes it.
good. I never knew how good food could,
Oh,
the
yeah.
things that I hated. And look, when I was in my 30s, I still didn't like a lot of vegetables. Like one that sticks out, broccoli. Have you ever eaten at the double L?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The presentation means a lot. We eat with our eyes, and that means a lot.
Hmm.
If something is aesthetically beautiful,
Very true. Yes.
you know what I
I
mean?
think same thing goes for kids.
Yeah. And I remember at Double L, they bring that steak was always good. Then they bring that broccoli. It was just like a piece of shit broccoli. It was just plopped on a white plate. It was just like you looked at it and you thought, ooh, it's boring. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it tasted even worse.
Okay.
And I hated it. And I think I was having flashbacks at the spit take, but I hated it. And then Teeny came along, who knows how to do that. And I have to tell you, for me to actually to even try that it was difficult because I'm not kidding. It was horrifying what she did. Spit take did.
So Tina fixed it.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it was like I didn't, no, this stuff really tastes good.
Maybe she was just a bad cook.
It was hard for me to be that objective in 3rd grade.
That's
All I can
probably
think about
it.
is everything else but that. But wow, yeah, I eat everything now.
Maybe it was just the time that you were raised, because my mom,
What are you saying? I'm old? as
yes,
shit?
uh-huh. My
Um,
mom said that back in the day, well, her mom was really, really poor. So they had, I think, it was powdered milk,
mhm.
like down to that, and they would eat sandwiches were made with bread and lettuce. That was my mom's sandwich, because that's all they could do. Well, she would cook them dinner, and if they didn't eat their dinner, they didn't eat all of it, she would put it in the refrigerator and save it for them to eat the next morning.
Ugh.
Yeah. So my mom with Liam, she was like, just save it and give it to him in the morning. I was like, I am not going to do that.
It's definitely not having leftover pizza. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah,
Because
that's
pizza
good.
do better.
That's good. Yeah, but I was like, I'm not going to do that. That is too much.
So my relationship with food has changed.
And that's good.
I have a love affair with it now.
You also were a bodybuilder, so you have an appreciation for food in a whole different way.
True.
When you deprive yourself of it, and then you appreciate it more when you get it.
That is very true.
And then, you're on that strict diet plan where you don't get certain things. And then after your show, you get way too much of it. And then you built a controlled relationship with food, but it's definitely a relationship.
Well, sometimes it's not controlled because, sometimes too much regimen is not good.
Yeah.
Then
Then you'll crack and you'll crack.
Well, when I was speaking of bodybuilding and food, we would be pretty regimented as far as when to eat every 3 or 4 hours back then. Well, hell, man, if I went over 30 minutes past what I should have eaten, I turned into a Jekyll and Hyde person. It's true. I didn't realize how that could impact.
It impacts you.
I'm still like that today.
Yeah.
I think you've seen that when I've come in here. If somebody fucks around with me when I'm trying to eat, I'm getting ready and they want to talk.
Gosh.
Forget about it.
Yeah, I stay far, far away from you. I can see it in your eyes.
Oh, yeah. It's a real thing.
You really try to control yourself, but you can see it. It's like that right there.
You don't know how close you are to dying.
Yeah, like that. I've definitely seen that. And then what? When you would say that you'd have how you like have a certain amount that you could eat, and then if somebody tried to take a bite of your food or taste it.
Those are fighting words.
What would you do to somebody?
Well, I pulled the food out of my girlfriend's mouth at a
Oh, yes,
restaurant.
that story. Tell that story.
I told her, I said, for some reason, she liked to pick food off my plate. And I'm bodybuilding. I'm getting ready for a show. I mean, I was so insane sick back then. And this was during that time, the story that I'm going to tell. I was dieting for a competition, so I'm already calorie deficit.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm already hungry. I said, look, I took scales into restaurants.
I have too. Yeah.
Because I weighed my food. I didn't believe, I don't trust anybody anyway. And I certainly didn't trust a waiter or a waitress or whatever, food server. And I told her, I said, look, she knew already I'm dieting. I count my calories. If you want something, order it. Please do not eat off my plate. I warned her.
Yeah.
So yeah, meal comes and I'm all tail swagging. She took a bite, a piece of food off my plate. And I thought to myself, oh no, you didn't. And I shocked her because I reached over and took that food out of her mouth.
Oh my God.
Right there.
Like right before she put it in her mouth?
She had it, going into her mouth, and it was in her mouth, and I reached over to the table, and I pulled the shit out of her mouth. Said, don't ever do that again. I'm serious about this.
Oh my gosh.
Did I go too far?
No. I didn't go to that extreme, but
she never did it again, by the way.
I've done it with Liam. Like I've had like some eggs or something, and kids will do it. They just, anything that you're eating, they don't want the whole thing. They just want a couple of bites. And I remember he went to grab some of my scrambled eggs, and I was like, no. He like dropped it. And I was like, please don't. Just give me that little piece. And I was like, I'll go make your own. I went and made him his own, brought it back. He didn't eat. He just took one bite of it, and that was it. I was like, oh my God.
My kids recount stories that, now that they're older, they're like in their 40s, close to it anyway. And they recount, sometimes we'll go out and they'll tell stories about me. And I thought, oh my God, I forgot about that. Another time I was dieting for a show. We love McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
All of us did. So I said, okay, we're going to go to McDonald's today, boys. And I said, I'm going to get you guys some fries. And I said, no matter what I say, Dad says, if I ask you for a French fry, don't give me one because I'm dieting for the show.
How old are your kids?
At this point, they were like 13.
Okay.
That age. And we went through McDonald's, Of course, I'm smelling that food. If you can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Hungry.
Yeah.
They're back there. And I said, Shane, give me a fry. No, Dad, you told us not to.
Oh
and I kept asking. I kept pissed off at him. And they go, no, you told us not to.
Oh, my gosh. You made them start crying?
They got really, yeah.
Did you get the fry?
No, they wouldn't give it to me. But it's just stupid shit like that.
Yeah. I think, because you told me that story a long time ago, and I remember I wanted to test Liam and see if he would give it to me. I was like, Liam, give me a fry. And he was like, no, you said not to. And I was like, no, I know, but I think I can do it. Just give me a fry. And he was like, no, but your diet. And I was like, I know, but it'll be fine. Just give me a fry. He goes, okay. And I was like, you were supposed to give me the fry. Yeah, he totally cracked. And it wasn't even that hard.
Yeah.
Just letting him know, no, actually, I think I'll be fine. Oh, okay. Here.
I think those stories are important. I think it's important that you do shit like that because, like things that my mom did when she was, I still think about stuff like that. And my kids now do the same thing. Do you remember when?
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of goofy stuff, but it's kind of stuff you remember.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
I wonder what he would remember about me.
Well, he's going to let you know later on.
Yeah.
after all of his hormones start raging and
Hopefully they're good
has a
things.
change of mind about mommy. Right now, you're mommy, nice mommy, for the most part.
He tells me he dislikes me sometimes.
Does he say that word, dislikes you?
He does, but it's because he told me that
He needs to go kill something.
No, shut up. He did tell me that he was like, I hate you
Bug.
sometimes. He said, I hate you sometimes. And I was like, okay, look, we do not say that word. I know what you're trying to say. I said, but we don't say that word here. So you can say dislike because I know you still like me. You just dislike me at that moment, which is okay. It's okay. And I give him permission to feel that way. Well, now that I've given him permission to feel that way.
Does he say dislike a lot?
He says it when we are really having a little back and forth. He'll be like, I really dislike you right now. And I'm like, I know. And that's okay. It'll go away. And it does. But I let him express his feelings because that's okay.
Oh, that's nice of you.
You know, it's
Not
fine.
an authoritarian?
I'm fine with him saying it respectfully because he's going to feel that way. But I don't want him to
Enjoy
ever,
it while you can.
Yeah, because I'm hoping that when he's 16 and he like really, really is having that hatred towards me, it's just like, oh, I just like you so much. I can handle that.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm hoping that it's that. And not, I hate you. Because that'll hurt. I'd rather hear dislike.
Have you heard that when they're young, they step on your feet? When they get older, they step on your heart?
I have heard that.
Yeah, that's coming next. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but
I'm hoping it doesn't.
it will.
What? Why? Why
Because
does it
that's
have
just the
to?
way. That's just the way it is. They're going to think you are so fucking stupid.
But
at
what
some
if
point.
they take care of their moms?
Yeah. They will when they're 40.
Did you take care of your mom when you were 6 and 7?
No, hell no.
Okay, well, mine does. So maybe he will
He
continue
needs to go out and
have
kill a
that.
bug.
He does.
6 years old, taking care of his mom.
He feels like he, maybe because it's just me and him.
Oh my God, he's gonna be ridden with guilt. When he's
he knows he doesn't have
29, he's gonna kill you.
No,
He's gonna shoot you. He'll murder you.
he knows he doesn't
Oh,
have
you
to
wanted me to take care of
me.
you at 6?
I didn't ask
I'm gonna
him.
take care of you now at 29.
I didn't ask him to take care of me, but he does it. Like just little things that he'll do for me. When, like, for example, if he goes to get some water before bed, he'll go get water. He'll bring it to the side of the bed, and then he'll be like, "Hey, do you want some water?" And he'll pour enough for me as well. Little stuff like that. He thinks about me. He's very, I don't know what's the word for that. Like
Considerate.
he's very considerate. And so I'm just hoping that when he's 16, 17, he's still considerate.
He will be, but in a different way.
Oh, we'll see.
Maybe
you'll still be alive. Maybe we'll still be doing these podcasts.
The thing that's really cool about, like, with my kids, watching them grow up, and we went through phases. They went through a phase where they didn't like me, but now it's just like it's a whole different. You bond in different ways when you're younger, when they're younger, and when they get older, and now they have kids. They start seeing, they start seeing things from a different perspective because now they're going through it.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of food and my relationship with food, I don't know what time it is, but my stomach does. And I don't want to fucking talk to you anymore.
Oh, good. Actually, my stomach does too. I'm hungry.
Your stomach does too what?
It knows what time
Oh.
it is.
So anyway, I guess until next time, we out.
We out.